scissors so that chinks. Okay.
I love those scissors.
Are these layers get progressively longer, or are they?
Yes, the layers are going to get. She wants a bang, so she wants kind of like a fringe, and then everything to kick over it like that. I said, oh, kind of like Heather Locklear's hair, and she said, I don't know who Heather Locklear is.
Oh, she's too young.
Yes.
I know, and I said she's one of the finest women on the planet. She looks like her, sort of. And she's even still hot. She's 50 and hot. I mean, you can be 50 and super hot. Who's 50 and super hot?
Oh, she's really hot.
Have you seen Kirstie Alley lately? She's hot. She's 60. You seen all the weight she's lost? She's got a sexy face.
Beautiful hair.
Unbelievable hair. And you know what I like about her? Is that some ladies, when they hit 60, they're like, oh, I got to throw in the towel and now I need to look old, so they start getting, why? If you're hot, your family. The key to this kind of cutting, you guys, is putting the scissor in. See how the hair's coming out of my hands in that direction? Is putting the scissor in parallel to the way that this hair comes out of my hands. If I cut across like this, where I turn, I'll create these chinks that are more hard. But with this kind of technique, we want to create a very aerated line. So it's almost, these layers are invisible, see? Because they go so deep, and they're also at different lengths, that when they scatter out, they'll be super soft. You won't see the lines. See? And the way you do that, this technique is called airation. You take your scissors and you aerate into the hair, into the ends of the hair, like this. Parallel, deep. Become very deep, see? Not just at the ends, it's up inside. And that's what creates that very modern texture that she's looking for, that will come over the bang. I take a lot of classes myself, you guys. It's very good to take classes. That's when I constantly learn things, constantly. And you really never ever stop learning it, ever. And that's what's good. If you could know it all, it would be boring and it wouldn't be that fun. You can never know it all. There's always more classes. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready to take some classes, myself take some classes with a teacher. And where I'm really strong is in my hair cutting and color and finishing, but where I'm weak is in my hairdressing. You know, so I'm taking classes from this lady who is amazing. The work she does is amazing. It's like each person is just like perfect. Every hair is so perfect, you know. So I'm going to take some classes from her. I'm going to then put that into my style. You okay? Mm-hmm. You have enough fit? Huh? What high school did you go to?
Candy. I live out in Santa Cruz.
You did?
Yeah.
How come you're not going to Sawyer?
I don't know, my dad told me to go here.
I think it's good. It's good. Less money, better school.
Yeah.
My brother, not my brother Tony, but my brother Johnny. He's our youngest brother. He's an attorney, but he's the only attorney in the world who can do hair. We taught him how to do hair. Well, he learned it from being around us, his whole life, you know, being at shows and salon. So he picked it up, and he's very knowledgeable about the hair business.
So does he practice his?
He doesn't practice hair, but what he does is he's involved with us as a businessman. He film this. Film. magic sterilizer. He is, he's involved with us as a businessman. She knows him. She just told me she thought that I looked like him.
Except for his hair is a lot shaggier right now.
Yeah, and blonde.
Yeah.
And he's crazy. Is he crazy? But it's really funny because he probably would have been the best hairdresser of all of us, but he decided to become a lawyer. Thank God he saved the family name for my dad. He was close. My dad, when my dad found out Tony was going to be a hairdresser after me, oh God. Oh, my poor dad. He really blew out. And for a while, he was not into it. He was very angry. But nowadays,
Because he comes from
biggest
the era
supporter.
of old school.
He's from the old school. But nowadays, he's changed. He's all for it. He helps us, you know. He comes to our shows. He'll critique our presentations. We'll come off stage and he'll say, "Come over here. I want to tell you how you could be better."
Are you going to be exhibiting in Long Beach show?
Probably not. We used to do that Long Beach show. I used to, when I was just in school like you guys, I used to go compete in that show. You guys should go compete in it if they still have the competitions. It's fun to compete. Even if you don't win, it's fun. It's just good to get you in there. Just get in there. That's my advice to you guys. Just get in there any way you can, anyhow you can. There's a lot of people like me that are looking for people like you. I'm looking for people like you guys. I want you guys to work with us. I want you guys to be, you know, part of what we do. See how my hands do not slide down to the ends? The way you guys are trained is they have you slide your hands down to the guideline, right? You'll have to do this kind of hair cutting, you'll have to get out of that habit. You have to stop, see? You have to have a lot of hair coming over your fingers so that you can cut into it. So you'll have to break that habit. But that's okay, once you do that, it's easy to learn.
This doesn't fit for curly hair.
This kind of thing's not as good for curly hair, no. I would cut a little different style for curly hair.
What do you do for curling?
Just to cut it a little differently. Curly hair doesn't have to be so separately cut and broken. You know, all this texture that's going to be around her face, all cool and shaggy, like she'll look at her stuff like this. That will be all cool and shaggy. That looks good on straight hair, but curly hair, it won't do that. It won't come shaggy, you know. So we cut it a little different.
You can go, you're next.
What's that? I actually have very curly hair, so I understand it pretty well.
Is she keeping the length?
Yeah, keeping all the length. You know, I like to cut styles that are like appropriate on people. You know, they go with their age and their style. You know, this is appropriate for her. She's 19, she's funky, she's pretty, she's cute. She wants something young and cool and hip, disconnected, you know, something that's not too over the blowing. But I was just talking to Rita. There's other girls who need something cool and alternative, you know.
You have to consider also hair quality.
And you have everything in hair has to first come off the hair that you're working with. Will dictate to you what to do. What you don't want to do is try to force hair into something it can't do. I did that with her. Where is she?
Daisy.
I did it with Daisy. I mean, this is kind of cute just like this. I mean, you could really... But remember, I cut it like that, you haven't really done a good job because it's never going to look like that again once she leaves, you know? So you have to make sure that the person's committed to doing that. And, you know, she needs to thermally change the texture of her hair because that's the kind of texture she has. She needs to do that. She might not like to do it because nobody really likes to work on their hair for hours, but she needs to. Okay, so now she's sort of got this bang. She didn't want to have the side sweep anymore. She wanted it to be more like framing her eyes and then have this stuff kick in here. So we've got that. The only thing that I got to do now is see, this is real, see how between here and here it's like one length? So that's going to be heavy. That's not going to look as good. So we need to lighten this up a little bit without making it stick up. You can texture it. There's many ways to texture it. You can texture it by coming underneath, putting that base in and then lighten the ends like I did on her. You can go through a technique that's called channel cutting like this. It's cutting channels in the hair, movement. It's really absolutely awesome for this kind of hair. And then there's another one, which I'm going to do on her that's a little less invasive, and I'll show it to you later. Put the gel in my hands. This also will be now the gel that I blow dry with her hair. I will then take the gel and I'll mix it with the blow dry serum. So it will be, the serum will give you really smooth, shiny hair, but this gel will give you, slop it around, put it on the back of your hands. Nobody ever does this, but I teach my students to put hair product on the back of their hands, and I'll show you why. Because you don't want to just in one place and now it's in one place, okay? So watch, the way you do it, you got it on the back of your hands and you start here in the crown like this. And you come inside and look. See how it hits the back of your hand? And you can do this, and you can get the inside and the outside all at once. See how it's coming across here? Okay, so that way you go inside and then outside. I'm going to put a touch of oil in there. Her hair is highly bleached and highly colored, so this oil will control it a little bit. I could literally put this much of this oil in her hair if I wanted to. That much. We made it to go in the hair but not hold the hair oily. There's a lot of silicone in it. Mainly on the ends first. Where there's more porosity, you add more product. As the hair gets longer, it gets more porous. As it gets more colored, it gets more porous. As it gets less porous, then it needs less product. So you never come into somebody that has healthy hair up here and plop a big, that always gets the last, this part, because it's the healthiest. This part gets the most. Okay, from here now, I'm going to recomb her hair. When you guys prepped this, did you guys put primer in it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. A little more primer. Remember, this is 4.5 pH, so it'll make the cuticle go smooth. For you newer guys, if they haven't gotten to pH yet, on the hair is a cuticle. It's like the covering of the hair. Well, if you put it on a microscope, it has scales. All right. It isn't all just one piece, it's many pieces. They have scales. When the alkalinity, meaning the acidity and alkalinity, when the alkalinity is high, meaning it's high on the pH scale, it raises all those scales up. They raise, they swell. That's what tangles are. See, these tangles what tangles are. See how her hair tangles? Her hair tangles like this because it's so highly colored that all those scales on the hair are all up like fish hooks and they grab on each other. That's what tangles are. So when you put product like this on it, that brings it down to 4.5 pH, it'll take a lot of those scales and it lays them down smooth onto the hair. And that's what gives you shine. There's 3 ways to get shine in the hair. There's heat, friction, and pH. And those 3 things will straighten the hair. Now we're going to comb it again. Brush it all forward into the same angle that I just had, but now we've got the product all over it. Product is very important, guys. You cannot do high quality hair that people will pay you a lot of money for. It's virtually impossible. Do her blow dry will be to get, before I blow dry I got to do one final cutting technique, but when I do blow dry it's going to be to smooth it out and build volume in it. I need heat, friction, and pH. The heat will come from the blow dryer, the friction will come from my brush spinning, and the pH comes from the product. Okay, so what you do is this technique, you take a wide tooth comb like this, you comb it all smooth like that, so that you can see the lines of how the comb leaves the hair. You guys follow me? Now you see the lines. See how it leaves the lines? Now what you do, you just pick up a random slot and you texture it off. This way, all of this will support and give some volume, give some texture to the hair, but you'll never see this. You'll never see these pieces I'm cutting off. It'll just support the hair. That's how you keep it nice and organized. This will do what she wants it to do. Give her those wispy edges, volume. That's pretty much it right there. Now, she does like to have lift in her crown, I think she was telling me. Were you telling me that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she likes lift up here. So we got to do one more final thing. Remember that lift comes from the bottom of the hair. No matter what I do to these ends of the hair, if it's too long between here and the ends, it will just fall flat. So she likes lift. We have to support from the bottom, meaning I got to cut some of these hairs in here short. Now that scares a lot of people, hairdressers, because they're afraid to do that. But you'll never see it. It will disappear, you guys. It'll be something that's in there, but it's not an issue. It will just be something that literally gives lift. So what you want to do is right in the crown where you want that lift, you come in here like this, and instead of cutting straight across like that, which would give you a lot of lift, you come underneath like this and you do this, see? And you slither out short pieces. That will support the medium pieces. That then will support, the medium pieces will then support the long pieces. You follow me? So they all support each other from the bottom up. But when it's blown dry, it will just fuse. You'll never see them. Okay.
Yeah, so like, yeah.